Today on CityCast Denver, local lawmakers took aim at social media this week with some wild new ideas to protect our teens. So me and Bree and a very cool guest are talking TikTok. Plus, is 2024 gearing up to be the biggest summer for live music in Denver ever? And as always, our wins and fails of the week. Also, be warned, this episode features a surprising amount of explicit language. Today is Friday, February 23rd. I'm Paul Caroli, and here's what Denver's talking about. Welcome back to CityCast Denver, the city with some very aggressive new chicken advertising. Did you see this billboard at 6th and Grant, Bree?
I did, Paul. Will you read what it says?
I would be
because it
delighted.
Perplexed me.
I felt the same way. I was driving down the street and I saw this and I had to stop and take a picture. It's for the Post Chicken and Beer.
Good place.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, Chicken and Beer.
Yeah.
The billboard is telling me they have locations in Lowhigh and Rosedale. So.
I've been to the Rosedale location, also known as a part of DU, is kind of what I call it.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I don't know where Rosedale
like
is.
Broadway-ish, and Evans is where this spot is.
Oh,
that's the Rosedale area. I have to say I didn't hear the word name Rosedale till like 10 years ago, but I'm sure it's been around.
Rosedale, the hot new neighborhood.
Yep.
Rhoda.
Good old Rhoda.
Rhoda. Anyway, here's what the billboard says. Chick-fil-A employees in uniform eat free on Sundays.
Okay.
Yeah.
For folks that don't know, Chick-fil-A is not open on Sundays because it is a religious affiliated restaurant.
So the Post
is saying
we got chicken on Sunday.
Yeah, sure. They have chicken every day. But why as a Chick-fil-A employee do I have to cosplay as myself in my costume? I mean, I guess it's a uniform. Come into a restaurant on my day off.
That's exactly what I thought.
And eat the thing that my restaurant makes.
This is so unpleasant.
And no offense. And I know it's not controversial. A lot of people like Chick-fil-A, myself included. It's delicious. I'm not going to be hunting down another chicken restaurant on my day off.
If the Post wants me to hunt down their chicken restaurant, they could bring the fried cauliflower sandwich that Chick-fil-A had very briefly. They were testing it out here in Denver, and then they took it away after like 2 months. I was so upset.
Well, Paul, I'll tell you, I used to make Chick-fil-A at home, and the secret is pickle juice in your batter. So just try that at home, maybe.
I might.
I know you're a little bit of a culinary experimental guy. Try it. But at any rate,
sometimes cook, yeah.
I love the Post also. I just don't understand this.
Mm-hmm. This gets a quizzical look from CityCast Denver, this billboard.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Friday. We're here in the 5280 Magazine studios. You heard her voice. Our host, Bree Davies, is here. Hey, Bree.
Hi, Paul.
Before we get to our great guest, we have to talk a little bit about this nice comment we got from a listener this week, Dawn L., who just signed up to support CityCast Denver, became a member. Dawn wrote to us, I started listening to CityCast Denver about 6 months ago and quickly became completely hooked. I start my day listening to the podcast and I'm so grateful to know more about what is happening in Denver in its upbeat yet authentic feeling format. I have visited several of the places mentioned. I've been thinking about supporting the show financially since the sponsorship program began. Since I pay for streaming TV content I underutilize, it seems only right to support a program I value and listen to every day. Thank you for all you do to create this high quality program.
What a nice comment, Dawn. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Dawn, that is the best.
Isn't that also the dream that someone starts their day with your podcast? To me, there's shows I start my day with.
Absolutely.
After my own, of course. After I listen to myself talk every morning while I'm taking a shower. But all that to say.
Do you do that?
Sometimes
I hear comments in the morning from you.
Yeah, sometimes it'll depend. I try to listen to it every day, but not always first in the morning. At any rate, it's so nice to hear that. It's so nice that Dawn listens and that she takes our recommendations and that she thinks that we're worth supporting. So if we're getting in there with your rotation of subscriptions, I feel pretty honored. Yeah.
So if you feel like Dawn, please become a member today. It is really, really important for the future of this thing. If we're going to continue to exist, to bring you this show every day, to find the best pizza in the city, to do that hard work, to interview the mayor, to ask hard questions, to help you feel more connected, please sign up today at membership.citycast.fm. You get ad-free listening as a little bonus, and you can do it all for as little as $8 a month.
As Peyton says, as little as buying one coffee for us a month.
Peyton, our newsletter editor, of course. Anyway, let's get to that fantastic guest I mentioned.
Yeah.
She's the lead songwriter for Bell Haas, a local group that has a new EP out this month called A Rose, a Thorn. Becky Hostetler, welcome to the show.
Hi. So fun fact.
Yes.
I'm now Odorola.
Becky Odorola.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Wait a second.
Just changed it.
What's you got married recently?
I got married.
Congrats.
That was actually the last podcast I was on. It's my husband's loops. Gonna shout out my husband's music blog.
Coming out strong with a plug. I love it.
Yeah,
he's a great music writer.
Oh,
I read his stuff. That's great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Tell us about the new EP, A Rose, a Thorn, Becky.
It was recorded in 2020. It was one of those,
Oh, wow.
I know. So it's not new to me. But it's the kind of thing where it takes so much effort to put something out, and I stalled myself with the idea of perfectionism. I let that get in the way of progress. But
now it's here.
Now it's here. Thank goodness.
And now fans of your band get to hear something new from you, which I know it's hard when it's like you've been holding on to it for 4 years, but everybody else didn't get to hear it. So.
Right. Yeah. I think if anyone's seen us live, they've probably heard the vast majority of it, but now it's a really cool recorded version. I got excited because we worked with Philadelphia Studios, Headroom Studios, Joe Reinhardt. He's the guitarist for Hop Along, Philadelphia known band, and and also guitars, plays guitar for Algernon Cadwallader, which is like a long-standing DIY band.
That's awesome.
Very mathy. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to say, I think it paid off too. I think the music is fantastic. There's this one song on here. I'm interested to hear that it was from 4 years ago, because I feel like it really, the Denny's song, the Denny's on Peoria.
Love that song.
It's a great song. I feel like it was you really captured this very Denver feeling of malaise that I feel sometimes.
Yes.
Is that what you were going for? Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, at that time, I wrote that song in 2018. I know.
I thought so. I was when Paul was talking about it, I was like, I know this song.
Yeah,
and then I was it's on this record, but I have seen you play it.
Yes, we did it on Sounds on 2019.
That's what I thought. I was like, I'm pretty sure you played it live on my show.
Different band lineup. Everyone loves it. It's really cool. But I had just moved in with a new roommate. I had just quit a job for the first time without having another one on the line. So I was between jobs, driving Grubhub, and picked up pancakes for someone at that Denny's at Peoria and I-70. And my roommate called me, and I was like, am I in trouble?
Just the anxiety of a new roommate. Yeah.
Literally that first line I was just is literally picking up food from the Denny's. It's not even creative at that point.
It's autobiographical.
This is a thing that really happens to you. Doing. But the video itself is in the Denny's.
Yes, the exact Denny's.
Which is what I really resonated with, because I have such a strong affinity for diners. And as we lose them, Denny's is a chain version, but it's something.
Yeah.
And it's what we have, kind of.
Yeah, it kind of is right now. And I'm from Southern California, so we had Denny's, but not as many Waffle Houses. So I know a lot of people really reflect on Waffle House as an important establishment, but I never really went to one.
I never did either.
Yeah, marching band after I was in Color Guard in high school, and marching band after I had strict parents who wouldn't let me go to Denny's after the competitions.
We used to ditch school because there was a Denny's by my high school, and that was where we would go. And then they would call the school and be like, hey, some kids
we got some of your kids here
smoking in our smoking section, and 3 of them ordered water and 1 ordered a coffee. And their tab is $1.10 because this was 1995.
Come get these miscreants.
Yeah, they would. And then we would get in trouble. But
I love it.
But that was my experience with Denny's. Was the diner that I went to that was close to my school.
Yeah.
So I feel you.
All right, well, let's hear a little bit of that song, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the news.
Picking up food from a Denny's on Peoria. Trying not to freak out, trying to
story today. The fight over social media has come to Colorado after the U.S. Congress held hearings on this alleged harm to children from social media last month. Lawmakers at the state capitol now this week apparently are getting serious about implementing some new regulations. So we'll get into their ideas in just a second, but I thought it might be nice to start with a clip from those congressional hearings last month. This is Republican Josh Hawley questioning Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg.
Senator, we try to understand the feedback and how people feel about the services. We can improve.
Wait a minute. Your own study says that you make life worse for 1 in 3 teenage girls. You increase anxiety and depression. That's what it says. And you're here testifying to us in public that there's no link. You've been doing this for years. For years, you've been coming in public and testifying under oath that there's absolutely no link. Your product is wonderful. The science is nascent, full speed ahead, while internally, you know full well your product is a disaster for teenagers.
Senator,
and yet you keep
true.
right on doing what you're doing. Right?
That's not true. That's not true.
The question here is whether or not social media has a negative effect on teenagers' mental health, right? Because I think it's still alleged. That's what they're fighting over. What do you two think?
I mean, I can only imagine the experience that I have as an adult on social media is really intense in terms of like, I think about growing up, and the conversation in the 90s was about magazines, right? About or images on TV, what we were being fed about our bodies. And, you know, I grew up in the world of diet culture and all of these things that were heavily influenced how I felt about myself. And I can only imagine having that constant interaction with that information on social media. I would agree. I mean, and I think a lot of parents would agree. My kids are not as happy when they spend more time on social media. I don't know. Becky, you work for DPS. Like, you see a wide swath of kids' experiences.
Yeah, and that's kind of the part of TikTok that I end up on sometimes is teacher talk. But I do agree that it's not great. And I hear more from like indirectly because I'm at I work at the central office, so I'm kind of visiting and hearing pieces of what's happening at the schools. And it's definitely not like the influence of social media isn't super helpful.
Is it discussed as if it's a distraction, or as if it's this like scourge that's making kids depressed?
Yes.
Both and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think both. I was reading about the Senate bill, and I like the specific restrictions that it's proposing in terms of. So what it'll do is after 10 p.m., if a young person, if a young person is on their phone for more than an hour after 10, there will be an alert that comes up on their phone. I don't know how this works. That's where I have a lot of questions. Is like, who's putting those alerts on their phones? Like, is this really something like the state can control?
Yeah, I was like, is this a privacy issue already?
It
with
doesn't.
Who has access to your
so that's
phone?
an issue. Oh, and that's the thing. That's the big issue at DPS is the privacy issue. Like there are a lot of. I think I'm a kind of a Pollyanna in terms of everything, but I work in career and technical education. So it's all the graphic design classes that are at the high schools. It's the coding, it's AutoCAD with engineering, it's the robotics classes. So I think of it as in terms of making sure kids have access to the really cool programming that's out there, the really cool applications that are out there. So I'm a little worried about that access. But I like that the Senate bill, at least like what the kind of conversation in terms of restrictions is kids being on the phone late at night. I know that's when I watched too many Buffy episodes until 3 a.m.
I watched a lot of paid programming. Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw some things I shouldn't have seen, when my friends talked about 4chan. So I am a little bit, we already struggle with our technical support and the restrictions that we have in terms of like what students can access for like really good reasons. My forte is the business classes. I taught small business before, and that's the curriculum I work with more. And they are struggling with, okay, social media is so prevalent for business, how can we do a realistic social media project in class that's about marketing? That's, a realistic thing. There's literally a class that's social media for business. And so I'm really torn in terms of I really understand the the views that are a little more extreme coming from the senators, just because there is a lot of concern, of course, but I'm also we have a daily battle where teachers are coming to us and being like, okay, well, my kids can't access Photoshop again. Like,
yeah, like some of these platforms are just how life works now. Like if you take the pop-up warnings, like let's say you're working on a project for your small business class and you want to set up a Facebook ad and maybe you like to work at night, is that so bad?
Right.
So you're getting a pop-up warning after an hour, but you're not just getting one under this bill. The pop-up would reappear again after 30 minutes, then after another 15 minutes, and finally every 5 minutes the user remains on it.
I don't mean to also ask
it's pretty intrusive.
It seems intrusive and annoying, but also Apple products don't allow pop-ups.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. How the implementation of this is like...
It feels like a lot of legislation around, although I don't want to undermine the legislation because I know young people help directly craft it. But I will say it still feels a little bit, we're behind the curve when it comes to technology and legislation. They're trying to catch up and figure out something that's already happened. And so the thing that I want to think a little bit more abstractly about this issue, which is beyond the school applications of it, what kids are using it for. And I just think about the lack of things we have in the world for young people to do, places to go, places to experience. I've heard a lot of younger people have interest in the nostalgia for the mall because so few of them exist. Yeah. But it's where kids hang out. Yeah. I spent a lot of time doing nothing at the mall before I worked there. Yeah. Or skating rinks, bowling alleys, arcades, like things that feel and sound archaic when I say them out loud, but kids just want a place to be together. Is that maybe part of the issue is we just have removed so many things from everyday society that teenagers don't even have a place to not be in trouble?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's another place that teenagers can go to not be in trouble, the Fortnite Island. They can go hang out with their friends on there and do missions and stuff.
Yeah, and that's true.
There's some of this that's just like
that either.
Adult bias that really reminds me of the you talked about the 90s earlier, but this what was it? Which first lady was it that was trying to crack down on video games? Was it Barbara Bush?
Probably.
Wanted to get violence out of video games. I just feel like so much of this is fueled by fear and misunderstanding and misplaced anxiety. Yes, the depression, kids having way worse rates of depression, that's horrible. But is social media to blame?
I think it could be part of it. Just based on the experience that I had with things that I was exposed to as a teenager.
100%.
And how they shaped how I felt about myself.
Definitely.
Well, we'll post a link to the Denver Post story about these various proposals going through the State House right now. It includes a quote from Governor Jared Polis, who would have to have the final say on this. Our famously libertarian-leaning governor does not seem very interested in any of these.
He's a crypto bro. I mean, I'm just saying, he's invested in the internet. He loves the internet.
He is.
He made money from the internet.
He wants the kids to stay online paying for his e-greeting cards. Although I think he actually sold that company. Anyway. Links in the show notes. But we got to take a break, and we'll be back to talk about music.
This episode is brought to you by Volo Sports. Because it's time to register for a spring league today. If you don't know Volo Sports, they've got Denver's most popular adult sports leagues, which are great if you're new to the city and looking to meet new people or make friends, or if you're just looking for a new way to get out of the house and socialize. They've got traditional sports like soccer, basketball, volleyball, and flag football, plus more non-traditional social sports like kickball, cornhole, pickleball, bocce, and bar games. Sports you can do with beer in your hand at the same time. That's what kickball started as, for sure. There's something for everyone, even if you don't consider yourself athletic. Play 7 days a week at convenient spots from Lodo, Sloan's Lake and City Park, to Cherry Creek, Highlands, Uptown, DU, Arvada, Inglewood, Golden, and more. You can sign up as a full team, a small group, or a free agent. Sign up today at volosports.com. That's VOLOsports.com.
Hey, it's Olivia Jewel Love, producer of CityCast Denver. When I first moved here, I didn't know anyone, and listening to CityCast Denver made me feel like I had friends. That's why the mission of CityCast Denver speaks to me. We spend all day, every day, finding the most compelling stories, the most exciting people, and the best insider recommendations so that you can make the most of the city and also make the city better. Members of CityCast Denver make that possible, and we couldn't keep doing this work without you. Become a member of CityCast Denver today at membership.citycast.fm and get exclusive perks like ad-free listening, event invites, and members-only updates. That's membership.citycast.fm. Thanks.
All right, and we're back. Summer concert lineups are filling my inbox, and the Denver Post reported this week that 2024 is expected to see another year of huge growth in the local live music industry with, quote, a record number of shows, artists, and venues absorbing the ever-increasing demand for live acts. We're going to talk about all of that, but we're going to start with Drake, who after 2 postponements has officially canceled his Ball Arena stop on the tour this year.
Sucks.
Becky, why is he doing this? Why?
Becky, you're around young people.
Yeah, why did he do this?
Well, Drake is my husband's guilty pleasure, so this is what he
so many astute
whispers
music
poetically
people's guilty
to
pleasure,
me.
I would say.
Yes.
Like I know very people that are versed in the history of music and
Yes.
there, but I also just love Drake.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's because you're a human and it feels good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm not a huge like big arena show person. In general, man, but that's a damn that sucks, bro.
Sucks for all the Drake fans. Although maybe there's a lot of Drake fans out there like your husband who are like listening in private and don't really want to be seen
That's true. Actually,
at the Drake show.
I've heard that.
It's a bad vibe right now.
There's that. It's questionable vibes. But I've heard him have discussion with friends about like, wait, are you going to the Drake show? Or like, wait, I mean, and they'll be like, well, I love this album.
Yeah, just go.
Yeah, who cares?
I don't know.
I'm not there for the music. I just like his attitude. You know? I like the way he treats women, actually.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I'm a big fan of that.
I've seen him like 4 times, I think.
Yeah?
He's great. But my theory on this, Paul, though, is he's not going to reschedule shows in the middle of nowhere. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Denver is a little bit in the middle of nowhere. And when you're routing a large tour that needs to make money, you need to be in line with other cities that you're going to be hitting. So he's not just going to be like, hey, I'm hanging out in Miami. I'm going to fly to Denver with my crew, bring all my, I mean, you're doing a Ball Arena show. That requires several semis worth of stage stuff. So I think logistically, we're just not going to get that unless he does a whole nother tour again. But my second thought about this is sort of a conspiracy theory that he hasn't returned to Denver since 2016. And in 2019, a video surfaced from a 2010 show at the Ogden Theater where he brought a 17-year-old girl on stage, kissed her, made inappropriate comments about her body, and then made jokes about going to jail for doing that. And again, this resurfaced in 2019. I was at that show and I wrote about it. And so I can see where maybe he's a little bit like Denver tried to cancel me. I don't.
How did the crowd react in that moment? Were people, what did
everybody
people,
was, okay.
like,
so
yeah, the woman from the audience?
Well,
chaotic.
Just know so this is 2010, right? He's just come out. I don't even know if he's put out the full album yet. He's the You the Best guy. This is his but it's at the Ogden Theater. So before he comes on stage, they bring out a microphone pre-shrouded in bras. Like they weren't thrown on stage.
This is part of the show.
It's part of the show. So I would say from that aspect, there's a lot of young women and probably men in the audience who were like, I want to go on stage with Drake. I want Drake to kiss me. I don't think that that's unreasonable. He was hugely marketable because he was attractive. Like, let's be realistic.
I think I don't know. Like in 2010, I was like still impressionable. My brain wasn't fully formed, like developed yet. So maybe I would have been like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But like
It's not I wouldn't say it was out of, like you're saying, it's not out of character for someone to say something like that on stage.
It's like party time excellent. Like people are just fucking saying stupid ass shit.
All right. Okay. So Drake's not coming to Denver. We are going to get some cool new stuff here when it comes to live music. There's 2 new music venues opening very soon. There's one that's opening next month called 2 Moons that's going into Rhino across from the Shake Shack on Larimer. And then there's another, which is like a currently empty, like massive 18,000 square foot warehouse in Alma Lincoln Park that looks like it's going to become some kind of like rave hall. Becky, which would you rather play?
The rave hall seems cooler, and I love that neighborhood. They're not gonna book me. 2 Moons just followed me on Instagram this morning.
Ooh,
funnily enough,
that's a
this
good sign.
morning, this actual morning. So I think they will probably be reaching. Well, I mean,
you seem like the right kind of band to me. It's on Larimer. It's you know what I mean?
Yes.
You play a Friday night, someone else is playing at the Larimer or whatever, or Meadowlark, and they wander over and they get to see you as well. To me,
I'd love
you
that,
would be that kind of band I would want to see there.
Totally.
Makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you. Also, what is the name of the company? Pearl Street?
Hospitality.
Hospitality. They also do Hudson Hill, and my husband and I live like walking distance from Hudson Hill, and we are addicts.
I used to live like 3 blocks away. I was there every week. It's one of my favorite bars.
So
I loved
good.
it.
So vibes are great. I'm a fan of a trashy ass sticky floor dive bar myself. So it'd feel like sometimes the really pretty bars feel like a lot to me, but like I will definitely be going there.
Yeah.
Not to like, I know it's going to be gorgeous and wonderful and just great vibes. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, the pictures they got, it's like full of plants. It's full of light. It looks really beautiful. Although the stage looks quite small. It seems like it's good for like a singer-songwriter.
That's
maybe
the
like
thing.
an open mic.
That's my feeling.
That was my worry too, is this. So there's a quote from the owner that says, I actually don't have a huge amount of experience in the music industry.
Yes, correct.
Which makes me a little concerned because sound then often is a problem. Stage size, the intention of the room. If someone walks in and doesn't feel that it's a music venue, they're not going to treat it like a music venue, as in they're going to stand in front of your stage and talk while you're playing. And that would be my one concern is like, is it going to feel like a music venue? And is the sound going to be good?
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. And Larimer Lounge now on the weekends books a lot more DJs. They actually exclusively book like electronic music for the most part.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah. Sorry.
Wow, you
fun
can tell
fact.
how I have
sorry.
been there.
Larimer Lounge.
Ooh.
But so that's going to be the people that are going to be hanging out around there. And so I just, the idea is really cool, but, and I definitely like, and I love Ratio. I love that area. It's very she, very like cute and like fun, and it's just becoming more and more like gentrified.
A hottie hotspot.
Yeah, which is like cute, fun. We love it. More white people, cool, blah, blah, blah. But like also like it, it's just, I think it feels like a forced, like, it feels almost forced.
You're changing my viewpoint now.
I'm
it's
horrible.
okay. Just
I'm
thinking
so sorry.
about no. I'm thinking about I haven't been to the Larimer Lounge in a long time, and like that literally was the place where my first bands played a lot of shows in the early 2000s, and it was, I mean, Arcade Fire has played there. Like,
so cool.
I mean, really huge bands have played there, and so I didn't know that it's had that shift, and that might change the foot traffic of this other
weekend. But like week nights, actually, I did the last show I saw at Larimer Lounge was Wednesday. This band from Georgia, I believe, and they're like,
so they're still booking bands. It's
they're
just
booking bands,
not on the weekends.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. So it'll be like a weeknight, like trash, like hopefully trashing. I'm hoping for a trashier the better. Like have like a beer and a shot at Larimer. Walk over, have your like nice drink, or start with a nice drink maybe while you can still taste it. Not 2 Moons.
See somebody maybe locally that you know, and then walk over to Larimer. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right. There's one more live music news story that's I thought was really interesting. Red Rocks is currently under construction right now before their season opens on March 30th. They're doing all sorts of cool stuff up there. A couple of details from the Denver Post story that I'll just pull out here. They're totally revamping the top of the venue, the visitor center area, and they're adding this indoor-outdoor bar patio pergola thing. And then also a bunch of like improvements and adjustments to make it easier for people with disabilities to get around at Red Rocks.
Also, the non-binary restrooms.
Tell me more. Is this exciting for you too? All these improvements at Red Rocks?
I mean, I'm going to have to see it to believe it. I think we talked about, Paul, a little bit in this article. They talk about the what is it, like a photo gallery or something?
Oh, yeah. Interactive tech upgrades to the exhibits.
Yeah, there's like a
downstairs
gallery behind.
Which
you take the stairs behind into the big restrooms and at the top. That's some shit I don't care about.
I've only been in there one time to see a band during Monolith in 2009 when my favorite noise band Health was playing inside there. Cool. And that was so cool, actually, because you're like it's in a rock, it still has the rocky thing. But other than that, that was 15 years ago. I've never been in there again. So that part doesn't excite me. And I'm skeptical. I will say I go to concerts a lot with someone who uses a wheelchair, and I would go and test it. Honestly, I'll just go and see, because the ADA was passed in 1990. We have not made the upgrades we've needed to make. It remains to be seen. Crossing fingers.
I really hope that they did it right, because that has been a problem at Red Rocks for so long. So many lawsuits, so much consternation over this.
Yeah.
I think everyone wants to feel good about Red Rocks and be proud of it, but that's like the one thing that just it's not really, for everybody.
Yeah.
I really hate how it's exclusive.
It's super discriminatory in a lot of ways. I mean, I dragged my parents to the Alison Krauss Robert Plant show, and we were huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
You're telling me.
So if those things can actually be upgraded in a way that is truly changes the function of it,
great.
I'm all about it.
Yes, please.
Heck yeah. All right. So live music, bigger and better than ever. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Not for me personally, but can't wait for all the fans out there. All right. One more break and we'll be back with the best way to end a week.
Wins and fails.
Wins and fails. Here we are, end of the week. We did it, everyone. Congratulations. You, listener, you did it.
You're here.
So we're going to do wins and fails like we always do. Rocky Mountain highs and lows. So we've each brought a recent local something that we think is a win and another one we think is a fail, and we're going to talk about it. And you know what? Normally, I'd let one of you two go first, but I'm going to go ahead and claim it. I'm going to start us off with a fail. My fail this week is all these restaurants closing downtown. There was like 4 restaurants closing downtown this week. Three Saints Revival, Avelina, Anna's Norwegian Bakery, but the one that hurts me, my community, the pizza lovers, is Ian's Pizza in Ballpark.
But didn't you say they had pizza with macaroni and cheese on it?
Which had devoted fans. I was not one of them. That's a lot of carbs.
It's still a loss for the pizza community.
Yes,
fair.
This was a Wisconsin-based chain. I don't think we have any other places that'll offer the mac and cheese pie. I know a lot of people love this place. They had a horrible flooding problem last year. They could just never recover on top of the downtown issues that we talk about all the time.
Yeah. And, reading some of the quotes from the owners of these restaurants, it was like COVID, we still can't recover.
Yeah.
We have just not recovered from COVID, from the pandemic, and from, the drastic changes to the service industry. Yeah. So I agree. That sucks.
Yeah.
Less variety downtown. Not variety.
Good. It's a shame. It's a shame. Also, this was one of the places that offers honey for the crust, the Denver style pizza delicacy.
Like Bojo's is
don't even say Bojo's to Paul.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the show notes.
Sorry,
I did a
said
whole
it
year.
5 times over, like Beetlejuice.
That's okay. I'm triggered. I'm furious right now.
Sorry.
But I'll be fine in a few hours. All right, which one of you two wants to go for a fail?
I'll go for a fail. This is probably, I'm in the part of the internet that's very anti-Zionist, so going to bring up something pretty controversial. Denver City Council did not pass a ceasefire proclamation for the Israel-Gaza conflict, kind of the basically annihilation of Gaza. Only 4 people out of, only 4 of the 13 city council members voted for the proclamation, and it was already not a very, it was already not strong enough for a lot of pro-Palestinian
to begin with.
Yeah, and it's devastating, and that it wasn't even agreed upon at a local level in a blue city.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
not just not agreed upon. I heard from a couple
there were some
of folks
statements that
from
were-
AIDS and that it got really quite testy. This
That makes sense.
ceasefire resolution in particular.
It's controversial. I hate to bring it up, but yeah, for me, it's just been devastating to watch. And it's I know that there have been beautiful local actions. I follow Jewish Voice for Peace myself, and like they're doing some amazing things across the U.S., including in Denver and Boulder, and that's of course a win in itself. But it's really hard to see all that happening, and it feels like such a disconnect here in the U.S.
Yeah,
So,
I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you. If you see and you know what's happening there, how can we not at least just make a statement to say we support
Right.
human beings not being
yeah.
murdered and displaced in mass? I
Yeah.
feel you.
Mhm.
Well, here's the other side of it: is there's a lot of tragedy in the world. There's people dying all
Yeah,
over the
of
place.
course.
Is
Yeah.
the Denver City Council's responsibility to condemn all tragedy everywhere?
That was a piece of that was like, why aren't we focused on local issues? I mean, I think there's room for that
Yeah,
voice among
it depends
many
on the
other
politician,
actions.
really. How you
Yeah.
want to represent people, what you want to say to people, how you try to win the votes. All right, Bree, I think that means it's your turn.
Yeah. In the last couple of weeks, a musician here in Denver named David Dinsmore passed away, and he was just a music scene staple here. He played trombone in a very Denver famous ska band here for a long time called Judge Roughneck. He currently was in a Tom Waits cover band where he like fronted it. It was called the Lost
cool.
Dog Ensemble. And he passed away, it seems unexpectedly. I didn't know him personally, but it's just one of those unfortunate moments where all of a sudden people you know just start pouring out these thoughts about this person that seemed so wonderful. He grew up here in Colorado Springs, and he did a lot to do that foundation building for the music scene. And a lot of folks said he was my mentor. He's someone that sort of helped me get into music and helped me build bands and book shows. And I just wanted to send my condolences to David Dinsmore's family and to all of my friends that lost a collaborator and a friend and a wonderful musician.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Damn. Love Tom Waits, though. Boy, I don't want that to be the thing coming out of there, but I'm
I never
reminded of
saw
how much
them,
I
but
love Tom Waits, and I wish I would have seen a Tom Waits
I heard
cover
it was
band.
an incredible
Dang.
show. Like
Yeah.
they put on a great show.
That's
so
really cool.
I know.
Dang.
But okay, let's move on to we could be happy now.
Yeah, well, I mean, what a legacy though.
How?
Come on,
Yeah.
he's got an awesome
It was
legacy.
really beautiful
Yeah.
to see so many types of people from, because the music scene is broken up into all these little sub
Right.
things.
I
and
didn't know.
Yeah, and so many people from different areas of the music scene knew him. So
That's really cool.
he really touched a lot of lives.
That's awesome.
Becky, you want to give us a win?
My big win, another kind of global meets local. Big fan of what's happening with a lot of our ladies in the Highlands that are taking care of some of our Venezuelan refugees.
Yeah.
I know we picked up some food for some catering. My husband and I did from a lady who's hosting a couple a Venezuelan couple and their daughter, and they were cooking a bunch of arepas, and so we got
Wow.
catered, and so and they're like, it's I think it's being covered in Denver a lot, and then a lot of these ladies that are locals are bringing them in or like helping them make money. Like we went over to Stanley Marketplace and there's like that room where I know that it's been talked about kind of a lot, but I love it. I love it. It feels really like a community effort, a community coming together and in a very that DIY way.
Yeah.
So super big fan of like all these ladies just like, oh, use my Venmo, I'm gonna pay them in cash. Like it's incredible. It's like anytime there's a way that people figure out how to work around the system too when it's not moving fast enough. I mean, I know it's hard to government
The city's
moves
doing
slow.
all it can.
Yeah.
But communities, these Facebook groups
Yes.
and groups of families and neighborhoods are just stepping up and
It's incredible.
offering it's mutual aid at its core.
Yeah.
How do we share what we have with
makes
someone
me a
who
big
needs
fan of humanity. So
I love that story for our city, and I think that it will resonate for a long time.
I wonder about this. Ever since the Mayor Mike Johnston's budget cuts that he announced a couple of years ago, I've heard from a couple of people who are feeling a little bit cooler on the way Denver's been handling this.
I mean, I can understand because we're starting to see the impacts of like money is not never ending. We've talked about it on the show before. Our city has done pretty well over the last decade or so. And so we've kind of had enough money to do what we needed to do, projects we needed to capital projects and running basic services. And now that we're losing those, I can see why people are getting a little bit bummed about it.
Yeah. Maybe looking at some of these suburbs that are not doing anything.
Yeah.
Not being welcoming at all.
And not only not doing anything, proudly announcing how they're not doing anything, which is a wild take.
A different route for sure.
Yeah. That makes,
but it just makes what we are doing even.
It makes me think of a meme called this meme that goes, it's been my theme this week, which not in reality, but in my head, this meeting could have been a fist fight. Like to take some of these people outside.
Just beat each other up, get it over with. You'll be fine.
Be more welcoming. And then, sorry, I probably clipped there, but be more welcoming. Punch him in the face. That's not really how it works, I guess.
But congrats to the community doing the work here to take care of people.
Shout out to the Highlands Mommies Facebook group.
Let's go. Honestly, girl power.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to go, Brie, or should I?
Go ahead.
Okay. I gave a pizza fail. I'm giving a pizza win.
Oh, good. Okay. Even it out.
I had the first new pizza place that I've been excited about in quite a while. It's called Dough Counter on South Colorado Boulevard, just to south of Poppies.
That's
around
right.
the Chez
My
Artiste
favorite shopping centers areas, strips of shopping centers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Strip malls.
It is so good. This place. Here's their specialty. They'll make a Sicilian style. I think that's their thing. So it's like square. It's a little bit thicker, like a focaccia style crust. But you know how the sauce is normally on top of the cheese on that style. So they have a pie you can get where they have stripes of 3 different sauces on top, like vodka sauce, the traditional red pizza sauce, and the green basil pesto all on one pie. It's a flavor explosion.
If you're a sauce guy.
Brilliant innovation from Dough Counter. Highly recommended. That's my win of the week.
Okay.
Love it.
Did you tell them to put macaroni on it?
Maybe next time I will.
Oh my God. They got to provide the honey.
They do have honey.
Oh,
they do have honey.
Good. They know what they're
do.
doing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Brie, how about you? What's your win?
When we were just prepping for this conversation and talking about Denny's and listening to Becky's music, I wanted to give a shout out to my favorite diner. I've talked about it on the show. The only negative is it's not open 24 hours. If it was, it would be the perfect place in the world, but it's looking good on Sheridan and First. I was there this past weekend with some girlfriends, and I just thought about how not stressful it is to go there. The service is always the same. The food is always awesome. The atmosphere is amazing. They have weird Elvis memorabilia for some reason everywhere.
I love it.
But it's a diner. They have a pie display, and everyone is nice. And the guy that seats you is the same guy every time. And I just love that place so much. And I can take anybody there. I can take my rowdy 2-year-old. I have girlfriends I meet with every couple months. My mom's was texting me. She's going to go there tonight with my aunt. You see, tables full of grandpas in Broncos gear, and you see teenagers, and it's a true diner in that sense. And we just don't talk enough about the diners that do still exist. And Looking Good is the jam. It's been there for 46 years.
Where is it again?
It's on the corner of First and Sheridan.
Oh, okay.
It's a beautiful 70s wood structure. It's gorgeous. I'm sure they built it for themselves. They had to have. It's beautiful because it has a bar in it. They have DJs on the weekend.
No.
Really good DJs.
Diner with
That's where I want to
DJs?
play.
Yeah, and they have a downstairs bar. It's amazing.
You're kidding.
And they have
That's
a room you can
incredible.
rent for big parties. So this is just my commercial. Looking Good Lounge, Looking Good Restaurant, one of the best diners in the city, if not the best.
I want to go.
You should.
Nice. All right. Well, here we are at the end of the show. Becky, you got some new music out. People should go listen to it. Where would be the best place for them to listen?
Go to Bandcamp, you guys. bellhost@bandcamp.com.
Because we can buy directly from you.
Yeah, you can. It does help. I mean, I have a day job for a reason. I'm not looking. That's not why I do music.
You're about to get the CityCast bump here. Tell your boss.
Yeah. I know. I know, right? Wait.
Put in your 2-week notice.
Oh, Jesus.
This thing's going to the moon
yeah.
right now.
I hope. No, I actually really love my boss.
Are they supportive of your music career?
Oh my God, so supportive.
Okay.
So supportive. And also, like, I like not doing music at all times. I like doing think about other things sometimes because thinking about music is like, oh my God, so, ugh.
Well, Becky, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope I didn't say anything really weird. Just a little weird.
Thanks for coming, Becky. It was really nice to talk to you again.
Thanks, Bree.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. Our producers this week were me, Paul Caroli, and Olivia Jewel Love. Peyton Garcia writes our morning newsletter, Hey Denver. Bree Davies is our host. Our music is by Los Mocochetes, with additional mixing by Tyler Lindgren. If you haven't already, subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts, follow us on Instagram at CityCast Denver, and tell your followers on social media about us next time you log on. You can sign up for that daily newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. See you next week.
Something with KG and you in a couple weeks, and I have to practice not
different.
Cussing.
They are under different regulations. It's the Wild West in podcasts. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Excellent. Okay.